Thinking about moving to Navarre, Florida? You might not want to after hearing these 10 facts. What's up everybody, it's Kristen, I'm with the Iremonger group and this is Life in Navarre. Today we're going to talk about all the reasons why you might not want to move to Navarre. Yes, this one's going to hurt, but I want you to know all the things in case one of them is a deal breaker for you. Let's get right into it. So number one is traffic. Yes, we used to be Florida's best kept secret, but the secret's out and now everybody knows about us and there's traffic. So even this morning, it took me about 45 minutes to get somewhere that should have only taken me 25. There was no accidents. It was just people going all the same places I was going apparently. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're not a big city, but we do have a lot of traffic. So generally speaking, it is in the tourist season from April to August. That's when the bulk of our, from spring break to summer break, all those, fun times, we get a lot of people coming down here and they can congest our roadways. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about a place to live. We have a lot of traffic here. So next up is humidity. Yes, it is humid here. When I first moved here, I had the first time that is. My husband and I had just gotten married. I had long hair. It was horrible. Within a month, I cut it all off because I could not take it anymore. The old saying is it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Well, for me, it's both. Humidity is a lot to handle. It took me about a year, both times living here, to get used to it again, just because it's sticky and it's gross. And if you're a big baby like me, it takes a minute to get used to. And for all of us ladies, when it's humid outside, we have to figure out a different way for our makeup and for our hair because it gets poofy and all the things. So probably beat this with a dead horse, but humidity can be a huge factor for some people as to why not to move to Navarre. And it's one of the cons, if you will. It's just our weather, but it's gross. Okay, so another thing along that weather line is number 3, hurricanes. Yes, we get hurricanes. Hurricane season is from June to November 1st. The last time we got a major one was Sally. Before that, we got kind of some effects of Michael, but kind of the more bigger 4s and 5s that we were hit with was Dennis and Ivan in 2004 and 2005. So they don't happen frequently in our area, knock on wood, but they do happen. So if that's something that might scare you, that might be a reason for you not to move here. For me personally, I'm from the Midwest and I don't like tornadoes because you get no warning. You get that the sirens go off, you get, maybe a couple seconds to try to get to safety, maybe a couple minutes. But for me, for hurricanes, it actually wasn't a huge deterrent because we usually know weeks in advance. We can see it tracking off the coast of Africa and kind of tracking where it's going. And those spaghetti models are just models, they're just, educated guesses, but they kind of all track within, a week or so out, where it's going. So they can be scary and they can be, a lot of reasons why people don't want to live here, but they're here and that's something to think about. Okay, so number 4. Now, before you laugh at me, it is a thing and it's disgusting. So another reason to not move to Navarre is bugs. Now I'm going to group all things: bugs, spiders, rodents, snakes, reptiles, whatever. Like, don't come at me, but I'm grouping them all together in like those just disgusting little things that are in our area. So we've got venomous bugs or venomous spiders or poisonous spiders, whatever the verbiage is, black widows, brown recluse. We've got all kinds of crazy snakes, friendly snakes and not friendly snakes, black racers, copperheads, rattlesnakes. And we've got just nice little friendly garden snakes and rat snakes, but we've got all the things there. We do have mice in some areas and rats. We actually just found a dead mouse in our garage a couple weeks ago. But in some areas of Gulf Breeze, the trees, like in the more forested areas, they'll have rats like up in their attics sometimes or just crawling around their roofs. So those are just all things. I mean, it's part of nature, but it's all there. We also have no-see-ums, which are these little tiny bugs that you don't see. They will eat up your ankles. Like, they're just kind of seasonal, it seems like, at the beginning of summer. But if you're just standing out in your yard in the grass in like the evening time, it always seems like it's in the evening time, you'll just start itching your ankles, and then the next thing you know, you've got these little red bites all around. We have fire ants. So those are those fun little red ants that they will bite you and they hurt. And they build the biggest mouths I've ever seen. So they can also mess up your yard. And then everybody's famous love bugs. So these are those bugs that they're gross. They're these little, they look like long-bodied ants. They attach themselves during mating season, so you just see these little things flying around. They're really attracted to white areas, so if you've got a white garage door, they're covered. It's covered. It's disgusting. So we've got those as well. So you'll see the memes out there that it's love bug season in Florida, that people hate that more than hurricane season. And it's true because they're just everywhere. Like, they don't hurt you, like they're just there. So bugs, number 4. All right, so reason number 5, you may not want to move to Navarre, is the Jun grass. So this is more for the beach goers. So this might be a little bit more trivial and annoying for people. Maybe not a huge reason to not move here because it's seasonal. Sometimes some years it's the Jun Grass is thicker than others, but it's still a thing you need to think about because it's in the summertime when usually people are going to the beach. So it's not even grass, it's actually algae that kind of moves in the coast, if you will. And it's just like this, it looks like seagrass. So funny story about this. My sister-in-law came down with her son, and her son and my son are the same age. They were like 5 years old or so, 5 or 6 years old. We had just gone to the beach. We got them all back in. We were giving them baths and everything like that. And my nephew had seagrass in his trunks, and just the funniest thing, because he kept calling it allergy instead of algae, and it was just all in their hair and everything else. And so they were just having a good old time trying to pick it out of their swim trunks and out of their hair and everything. But it does, it gets in out of places you don't think it could get into, but it does. And it just, if you're like me and when you're in the water, you don't like things touching you because you don't know what it is, you're not gonna wanna be out there when it's Jun Grass season. Okay, so we're halfway through the top 10 reasons why not to move to Navarre. Now stick around, the next 5 reasons are a little bit more hard hitting, but if you've enjoyed this video so far, I would love it if you gave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that you know the next time I drop another video about Navarre and Gulf Breeze area. Let's get back to it. Okay, number 6. There's not a lot of shopping. So we have the normal, grocery stores. There's a couple like Ace Hardware type stores. There's a few boutiques like with clothing or jewelry, things like that. But we don't have any like big areas where you can get some really good retail therapy done. If you want to do athletic shopping, sports equipment and things like that, furniture, or just bigger, clothing stores, you have to go to Pensacola or Destin for that. We just don't really have it here. You can get your basic stuff. So, like I said, groceries, there's clothes at Walmart, and there's a Target not too far away. But if you really want to get that big shop done, you kind of have to still go about 45 minutes away. Navarre just doesn't have it. Okay, number 7, employment. There's not a ton of employment options. There's not a big vast array of different types of jobs you can get here. So this one, it depends on what you're looking for, but it still stands as a con because there's just not a lot of options. So when we moved to here in 2006 and again in 2017, it was hard for me to find a job as someone that I've got a 4-year degree. People that were looking at my applications for things thought I was overqualified when I have a huge background in customer service. They just kept getting overlooked. Kind of job options you have here is medical field, tourism, banking, and then like contracting jobs with the military. Obviously schools, things like that, but there's not too much else in Navarre anyway for job options. So if you want something that's more office-based, you can go into Pensacola. Again, more tourism, like higher level tourism type stuff. Obviously going to Destin for that kind of stuff, but Navarre specifically, there's not a ton of options. Economic development is our county. The top 6 companies that employ the most are Baptist Healthcare, Walmart, Santa Rosa Medical, so there's 2 medical right there, Publix, and then Gulf Cable and Mediacom. So 2 of them are both cable and internet providers. So as you can see, there's not a ton of diversity there. For our public organizations, it was Santa Rosa County School Systems and then our military jobs. So, if you're looking for something that's outside of that, hopefully you've got a job where you can move down with it, and it could be a work from home job. So number 8. Now this one's only going to be a con if you're moving down here with athletic kiddos. In Santa Rosa County, our schools don't have sports until you get to that high school level. So if you're looking for, I won't say free, but a lower cost option of putting your kids in sports, typically our school systems, would have those things. Santa Rosa County, which is where Navarre is, does not have that. So that could be a huge con for you if, you're trying to get your kiddos started in sports and you're on a lower income. Another thing to note is that a lot of our schools, at least in Navarre, don't even have a proper gym. PE is usually held outside or like in a covered like cement area. There's usually a multi-purpose room in the schools, but it's just got like that really low plush kind of carpet, smaller, very, very small basketball court on the carpet. So they kind of use it for everything, but PE class is usually held outside or, like I said, on a concrete pad, like a parking lot. So it's just something to think about. If you've got those athletic kiddos, you're gonna have to either pay to put them in sports or pick another, like Okaloosa County has middle school sports. All right, number 9. This one might hurt. So in 2023, the average sale price in Navarre was $627,000. For most people, that is out of reach. If you're thinking of renting instead of buying, I've got some bad news for you there too, because our apartments are not exactly cheap. From a 1-bedroom to a 3-bedroom can range anywhere from $1,450 all the way up to $2,800. So a lot of people, again, it's a little bit out of reach. Now, this isn't to say that you can't find cheaper options. This is just the average, but just kind of know that the cheaper options are usually snatched up really quickly, or they're cheaper for a reason. Okay, speaking of housing, don't forget that I'm not only your local Navarre YouTuber expert, but I'm also a real estate agent. So if you have any questions on housing options, whether to rent or to buy, and just kind of want to get to know the area down here, reach out to me. All of my information will be popping up here on the screen. You can email, call, text, or even find me on social media. I'd be happy to help you out. Let's get back to my final reason why you should not move to Navarre. Now this one might be controversial, but number 10 as to why you should not move to Navarre is that there's not a lot to do. So a lot of people ask me, like, what do people do for fun in Navarre? We go to the beach. Like, that's what we do. There's not a ton of, like, there's no closest movie theaters in Gulf Breeze. There's not stuff really to do. Like, you can go to the beach and play volleyball. You can go to the beach and listen to some live music on the weekends. You can go to the beach and put your kayak in the sound and things like that. And there is, recently they just put up it's like a jungle gym looking thing for adults and kids, but it is on the beach. So all the things to do are on the beach. If you want other options of entertainment, going to Pensacola, which is only 40 minutes away, there's a Sanger Theater there, which has some really cool shows that you can go to. There's an amphitheater in Pensacola as well that sometimes will have comedians or, you know, musicians and things there. In Niceville, there's also the Northwest Florida State College that also has they do the Nutcracker every Christmas. There's a zoo that's in Pensacola. There's another really cool zoo in Crestview, but again, the one zoo's in Gulf Breeze and then the other zoo's in Crestview. So again, they're all within an hour's drive, but they're not in Navarre. So again, the beach in Navarre, that's what's to do. Okay, so this video is not the most uplifting, but you need the good with the bad, right? I always like to tell people that I am very honest about our area, the good and the bad, and this unfortunately was 10 bad reasons. But for my husband and I, none of those were showstoppers enough that prevented us from calling Navarre home. We just found ways to work around them or to deal with them, and honestly, a lot of them weren't even a big deal. But I would love to hear if any of these are showstoppers for you. Let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, I'll see you later.